So hi, my name is Carlene Sullivan. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to 2026 predictions. And I will try to get this all down within around 10 minutes or shortly thereafter. Now, the reason why I'm holding this particular video in this space is because yesterday I had the intuitive insight of the 2026 prediction. And typically with my intuition, I will ask questions, whether you want to call it to the God, to the divine, to the higher consciousness, whether you want to call it to the cosmic forces, whatever name you would like to put to it. I've been asking the divine source, what will be happening in the future? How can I help people elevate to the next level? What will happen in 2026? And nothing was coming to me for about 3 weeks, because intuition happens when you're completely aligned with your surroundings and you're no longer living in the illusion of your emotions. Okay? And so nothing had come to me. I had some family matters that I was dealing with, some personal matters that was a little bit trying on me, so I can understand why my intuition wasn't as sharp as it normally is. However, yesterday, I'm in my healing studio here where I offer services for people, and yesterday I had a return client come to me. And I am in the, presently I am in the Alpine region of the Alps in Europe. And I had a return client come to me and she says, "Be careful. Krampus is outside." And for those of you that don't know who Krampus is the evil counterpart to Santa Claus. Okay, this is like, if you're American and you're watching this right now, I'm sure you're horrified, because Krampus is basically, Santa Claus is known to bring candy, gifts, holiday cheer. And then there's this Krampus monster that's the evil counterpart. And what he does is his character in this whole holiday festive season is that he is the character of the monster that kidnaps children that have been bad, and those children dissolve. Okay, so in any case, she says to me, "Be careful. Krampus is outside and he's evil and he's dark." And I sort of chuckled to myself because I'm thinking to myself, I've been waiting for this moment. My positivity and my power is so resilient. I'm just, I'm ready for that spiritual battle. I am in spiritual warrior mode. Like, I'm wearing my armor right now as we speak. In any case, what happened was she came in for her treatment, and she's actually being challenged with many health issues at the moment. And I knew energetically that she was a little bit hesitant, that the Krampus parade was taking place outside the studio at the moment. And so while I was giving her a treatment, I just asked the question, I said, "God, divine, consciousness, if there were evil or darkness right outside my door, how could I protect myself? How could I protect this individual laying here on my massage bed?" And what happened at that moment was the 2026 prediction came into play. And I had a vision of a ring of fire. And how I perceived this at the moment was that ring of fire was my protection. And that ring of fire also is a symbol of pain, it's also a symbol of suffering. So this parallel contrast on one part, if you're on a higher level of awareness and you're living within the divine law of being, that ring of fire in 2026 is your protection. It's like if you have prey, and if there's an animal and it's preying on eating another animal of some sort, of preying on another animal, if that animal is surrounded by fire, there is no way that they will meet or fight one another. So that ring of fire is the protection. Okay. Now, on the way home, so I realized, I was like, oh my God, I'm in the ring of fire. But is that ring of fire, do I have the ability to protect the ones close to me as well? The answer is no. And the reason is because the ring of fire, when I was on my way home, I did a little bit of more internal research, basically searching the wisdom below the confines of my everyday thoughts. And the ring of fire has also been noted in many religious texts, as well as spiritual insights. And the ring of fire also is known to be the era of pain and suffering. And pain and suffering, essentially, is where we also are in the middle of the consciousness shift. The consciousness shift began in 2018. We were at the apex of the world we once knew. We will never go back there. We are now in 2026. We're halfway through the consciousness shift. That means we've got another half to go. And when people are on a state of awakening, this is another falsified belief. When people are searching for enlightenment and spiritual awakening, this is very painful. And the reason is because you're peeling off every single ounce of who you thought you were. That person in a spiritual awakening no longer exists. And I have to tell you from experience, although I am very, very grateful for my insight, there are times where I miss my simple way of thinking. And so that pain and suffering, before one reaches the level of the protective state, the ring of fire of protection, the counterpart, just like Krampus is the counterpart of Santa Claus, the counterpart of that ring of protection is fire. It's painful. It's suffering. It's filled with heat. It's filled with fire. It's filled with anger. And this is the counterpart that we're going to be seeing in 2026. And so you may be balancing in between those two worlds right now. And that's okay, because we're halfway in between that consciousness shift. And as we move forward, and that we realize, and how do you get out of that? How do you get out of that pain and suffering? Well, it comes down to living within the reality of what is, not within the confines of your feelings, and not within the limitations of your sensitivity. So a lot of people say, they come to me, they say, I'm very sensitive. Well, that's great, but it's not great if your sensitivity is basically hammering you over the head and giving you also fear, depression, anxiety, because then you're bringing on the external of what's happening around you, and you're basically wearing that as your skin, and that's not your skin. So your skin essentially, in the end of the awakening, is complete resilience. It's not having a sensitive heart. It's having an empathetic, tolerant heart, a heart that can stand through the entire battle. And when that happens, I can assure you that the higher good, whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it consciousness, whether you want to call it the cosmic forces, whatever you call that, it will protect you with that ring of fire during this era. It is the spiritual divide. And not everyone is going to make it. I have some bad news. Although my mission is to help people elevate to a higher level of consciousness, I have also surrendered to the reality that it is not my choice who is chosen and unfortunately who is not. And that doesn't mean that they're going to fall into the depths of hell if they do not end up becoming spiritually enlightened. It just simply means that their life here on earth potentially will be of lesser value than they may have hoped for, but that doesn't mean anything in the realms of eternity, because we will always carry on and our spirit always remains, and we are eternal beings. The only thing that is perishable is our mind and our body, our physical body. The rest of our spirit is eternal. So now that I potentially have confused you from here to Timbuktu, we are on the era of the ring of fire, the spiritual divide. And whether you are aware of it or not, that ring of fire can be taken in two aspects. One, Krampus, which is pain, suffering, or the opposing character, which is Santa Claus. And that Santa Claus is the gift of joy, of festivity, and also of protection. So, in any case, I thank you for listening today. Of course, I talked the ears off a rabbit and went over a little bit over than the 10 minutes that I said before. However, I will continue to upload audios of consciousness teaching, of meditative reflections, and of spiritual insights. I also invite God, cosmic forces, and all different aspects of religion. And the reason is because as we move forward on this consciousness shift, we do need to come into one commonality. And perhaps that commonality is that we all agree that the better good for humanity and all living beings is of utmost importance. So I wish you all just a beautiful holiday, a happy new year, and I welcome you to reach out to me if you wish. And peace be with you. Take care. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.